So, it's been a while since we've done one of these. Kept saying, right, because we did one and we got loads of topics to talk about.
Yeah.
And then, as usually happens, life happens.
We're very good at
Yeah.
making plans,
Yeah.
not quite so good at
Yeah.
seeing them all through. So we thought we'd come on today and talk about a very exciting event that's going to happen this autumn. And we're going to do it a bit like it's a chat, but a little bit like an interview thing, because this is Kaz's brainchild and baby. So I'll be asking some questions, and I'll pretend I'm you and me. Any questions regarding this event that I would like to know, and hopefully you would like to know, and then Kaz will answer as good as
Because it's much easier than me kind of talking into nothing, into a phone screen, and waiting for the lag that happens, and then responding to questions and not really seeing all of the comments. So it's just much easier, I think, this way. Is that rain coming? It is, isn't it?
Well, it's just a
Thank
blessing.
you,
Blessing from the
universe.
skies. It's
Thank
starting
you.
to rain just when we're starting. Okay, well,
Never mind.
We'll
see how we
yeah,
go.
it's probably gonna be okay.
Yeah. We'll move if we need to, but it should be all right.
So I've written down some questions, and I think I'll work from them. So this chat is about something called Elevation Soul Sanctuary. Kaz, please, in a nutshell, what is that?
Right. So elevation is like an emotional state as well. An emotional state of elevation is that feeling that you get when you see something great happen for somebody else. So you see you see two people walking along the road, two elderly people walking along in love, hand in hand, and you get that feeling of like, oh, that's just so amazing. You see a young person helping somebody across the road. You witness those, them videos that they have on YouTube where there's just great stuff happening, and you get that feeling come up where all of the problems, everything that you've got in your life just fades away, and you just feel that real connection and that joy and beauty of what it is to be human. You get that feeling that lifts you right up, and you just know that that is what life's about. That's the feeling of elevation. It's to feel that upliftment that you get from seeing other people doing really well. So in the past, all of the retreats that we've done have been called retreats, and they are retreats because what you're doing in a sense is moving away from your everyday life, from your environment that makes you who you currently are. So everybody that you interact with, everything that you do, how you go about your day, how you're showing up in the world, the things that you're doing or not doing, are all a result of all of the people and the events and the programs that are running because of the environment that you're in. So when we do retreats, the idea is you're away from that environment and you get to just be you. And that's always been the way that it's been, and people love them because there's no expectations other than to be who you came here to be. And you can be authentic in that. If you're feeling raw or rough, then you've got that lovely sacred safe space to be able to be held in that. So they are a retreat that way. The soul sanctuary is more a place for ever. It's not just that week that we're away. So the idea of having a soul sanctuary is to have this sacred space, this group of people who you have this shared common goal and purpose to elevate your life in some way, and in whatever way that means to you. So to have this soul sanctuary, that's going to be created in person in that week long that we've got together. It would be a real deep dive, that tribe building, and the authenticity that's going to come from that, of just having that shared sacred space and finding out what each other are about, where our struggles are, where we want to move forward. And it can be anything. It can be business, it can be to do with your weight and your health. It can be to do with your relationships. It can be to do with your creativity, whatever it is that you know that you should be doing and you're not really doing. You've got that space to be able to say, right, this is where I'm struggling. And once you deal with that one thing, often that impacts on everything in your life. So in this week, we've got a chance to really dive deep. We'll do a lot of other work, which I'm sure we'll get onto in that week. But the sanctuary will then continue for a year afterwards. So the whole idea is we're returning to simplicity and to balance and to moving throughout our day, throughout our lives, as more balanced, harmonious creatures. And we're working with the cycles of the daily cycles, the ultradian rhythms, the little cycles that we have within that, resetting so that we're going with the forces of nature, the natural cycles, and it doesn't feel so much like life is such an uphill struggle. So we'll get the week of practicing being that way, but then when we return back, what typically happens from a retreat or an event is you come back and things are great for a week or two, but then the old programs take back over. And if you don't have that supportive sanctuary to keep you on track and people to remind you and checking in and to say, this is how I know life should be, then you can retreat back to the way that you were. You become back more like the old self. So the idea is you're going to elevate your emotions. You've got this supportive tribe around you. You've got that weekend person to do the deep dive. But then for the rest of that entire year, we practice being our future selves. And when we fall from grace and we dip, we've then got the support of 11 other people to lift us back up and to remind us of who we truly are. So in a way, it's an experiment with yourself. You're being your own scientist. You're just like, well, what would happen if I stopped talking about this stuff? Because quite often the people that come on my retreats anyway are people who are interested in making changes in their life, and they've done the work and they've looked at things like the law of attraction and different ways of being and how energy works and how to heal yourself, and they've looked at all of the reasons why they are the way that they are. But the trouble is, what do you do about it?
Yeah.
So it's the taken action that will be a continuous thing throughout the year, in tune with the natural cycles. So every month we'll come together virtually and we'll have a focus. At the end of that week we'll have a focus, so we know ahead what we're going to focus on, and it's not so overwhelming thinking this has got to change in my life, that's got to change in life, and that is, and it becomes too much, and then you can't find what that next step is because you're overwhelmed. So it's about everybody elevating together but having their own personal journey for whatever that means to them. So you said in a nutshell, but I think I've talked about 10 minutes.
I was just about to say, that's a big nutshell. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. It's so exciting. So let's see if you've answered all my questions in one go now then. Yeah, so that was what the elevation actually is. Then, before we dive maybe even deeper into that, for those of you who might not have seen these chats before, or for whatever, I'm sure you probably know Kaz because you're on her page, but just to know a bit more about you who are actually creating this event and creating this soul sanctuary, in case you haven't had treatments by Kaz or haven't been to any retreats, or maybe even haven't met her in real life, can you, let's see what I said, who are you, Kaz? Why are you so passionate about guiding people to be the most expanded versions of themselves?
Basically because like most people, I've been through a lot of the stuff that people tend to go through throughout their life. So through kind of studying neuroscience and quantum physics and all the rest of this stuff, I kind of, when you hear something and you just think, actually that was so true for me. when you get to about the age 35, you tend to become, so you have some sort of thing in your life where it's like, hang on, what's going on here? And you've typically experienced everything that there is to experience in life, so things pretty much become known to you. You can take what's happened in the past and you can place it in your future, and it's either that's really great for you, or it's a case of, no, that's a bit terrible. But when I think of what happened around that time, when my mid-30s is when I really had to dig deep and do the work. So there was by that point I had chronic migraine following whatever happened, whether it was a mini stroke or some sort of hemiplegic migraine that started that off from coming off the pill when I was around 30. So I'd had skin cancer a few times by then. I'd had this chronic illness that really impacted me and stopped me being the mother that I wanted to be, because I had to, I just didn't have the energy, I didn't have the capacity to do the things that I really love to do. So there was a lot of struggle that way, like a lot of women as well, trying to juggle your family life and working through all of this. And there was also a betrayal that happened. So there was a lot of stuff that led me to the point where things just weren't right in my life. And although I felt like I was dealing with them, and I had always been interested in card reading, and I'd been to spiritual development groups and all sorts of stuff had been going on, there was just something not quite feeling right. Like I wasn't doing anything with the stuff that I knew. So I went to the doctor, like most people do. You go to the doctor looking for your answers, and the doctor just said it's not depression, but it's like PMT that you've got, because I was struggling at the time as well with heavy periods and all sorts of women's problems. And she was like, it's PMT. And I was like, but it's not really linked to what time of the month it is. There's just something not right in my life, and I just feel at a total loss. Like, I'm thinking really dark thoughts. I was kind of looking back, I was really depressed. But I think it was her way of saying, look, take these tablets, these are going to make things better for you. And so I took one of these antidepressants, and I was off my face. I was completely it was the smallest amount. I remember talking to my friend, and she was like, what milligrams did they give you? And it was like the tiniest amount. But something in my body went, no, this is not the route for you. And I had some sort of experience there, some altered state where I kind of was out of my body, and I was looking at my life from a completely different viewpoint. And I just thought, you know what you should be doing, you're just not doing it. You know what needs to happen, you're not doing it. So I was like, right, something's got to change here. And I started putting things into place, where it wasn't until I was about 40 really where I just went, right, no, that's it, everything's got to change. Because by that point I was working with, I had been working with children and families. I was training people who worked with children, and as self-employed, and training people about how to become more resilient, develop their emotional intelligence, how to approach educating children from a more holistic way, and getting that security and that foundation right. And that's what I was training in. But when governments changed and funding dropped, it was an opportunity to go, right, okay, so maybe I've got this next year or this next couple of years to think about where I want to be in my life, what's not working in my life, what fills us with joy, how do I move forward. So I started putting plans into action, and I decided to make what I do more in tune with who I was. And it was a relief actually to get out of that whole thing of not having to work in a way that suited Ofsted or anything like that, and to just go, no, this is what I feel to be truth, this is what I observe about humanity and human nature and children and how we learn, and how those programs that are put in place from a really young age can have such an impact in your adult life.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of bringing the two together. So bringing the training together and bringing in my knowledge of the other stuff that I was doing kind of as a hobby before that, and went into working with energy healing and finding out about how all that, the science behind how all of that works. Why do we still behave in a way now in our 40s because of one thing somebody said to us when we were 4-year-old, 7-year-old, whatever it is. So I got really interested in all of that stuff. So what happened then was I lost a lot of people in my life. A lot of things in my life changed because I was no longer that person or that personality of who I was. And I had to really recreate my life, reinvent myself, decide who I wanted to be, how I wanted to show up in the world. And that was really scary. So that was a over the course of however many years, repeating the same patterns, attracting the same people who wanted to kind of share in that energy but not really give anything back, and then losing them and then thinking, oh, what's wrong with me? It's all down to me, it's my issue. So really I just work through all of that with the tools that I know. And sometimes I don't, and then I'll go and seek support from somebody else who will remind me to kind of, you know this stuff. What's happening here? You're falling back into survival mode. So really, again, in a nutshell,
That's what you do with other people, to be fair.
Yeah.
Helping people out of the survival mode and into growth and expansion.
That's it.
Brilliant.
I think
Thank
there
you
might
very much.
be some
and I know,
comments, but
I don't.
because I was looking at yours, and
Yeah.
it's actually on this.
So there are actually two. It's been a bit, Nettie has said, it's a little while ago now, she said, hello ladies, nice to see you having a me day. Off to Corby Castle in Cumbria, something, or a spooky ghost hunt.
Oh.
May not find it as it's down a country lane, just by myself. Lovely. Well, enjoy.
Yeah,
Enjoy
that's
that.
not my idea of fun, but I know you would absolutely love that, Nettie.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, going to a
And
spooky
then-
castle down a lane by myself. No, thank you.
I will definitely bring someone with me. Okay, and Ellie Thorpe. Hello, lovely ladies. Hello.
Lovely
Hello. Can I ask you if anybody's still on? Can you hear us? Because I'm a bit worried about all the wind, messing with the audio and stuff. Can you please just give us a thumbs up or something just to show us that you can actually hear what we're saying?
Yeah.
And we're not just miming here, smiling
And
on
then
the
we'll
camera.
put this video on YouTube or something later, and it'll just be and us going.
Wouldn't surprise me. We'll put some nice music on. Oh goodness. Okay, well that's brilliant. So, back to next question. Shall we try and make them a little bit shorter
Yeah,
now?
go
It's
for it.
more direct questions now.
Come on, go for it.
So, back to the Soul Sanctuary Elevation. When exactly is it?
So it's on the 16th of September, which is a Friday. So it's a full week long, Friday to Friday, 16th to the 23rd, I think. And the Thursday before we finish, so the last night of that is autumn equinox. So it's a perfect time for making all of those changes, letting stuff go and stepping out into the new way of being. So 16th to the 23rd of September this year. So I think when I had a look on the website before, it's something like 44 days time.
Oh.
So excited.
So Ellie Thorpe is saying, thank you very much. Hello, yes, can hear you. Just saw you live. The audio sounds fine. You can hear the wind a little. Okay,
Alright.
well, as long as you can hear what we say, it's okay with
That's
the
alright, yeah.
nature sounds is okay as long as they don't overpower.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that was the week, and then of course there's another year
Absolutely.
of the virtual, the Soul Sanctuary Peer Mentor group after, to kind of support you in your changes over the coming year.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So
once
the
a month.
retreat is 1 week, and then every month for the next year, you will have that support from the other people who have been to the retreat with you.
Yeah, because what I didn't want to happen is to make it another thing where people think, oh, because everyone's lives are busy anyway. The whole point of doing this is to return back to kind of start to remove the stressful things that are happening in your life. So I didn't want people to think, right, you come and you have this week and it's going to be really, I mean, it will be intense, it will be a deep dive, but it's also going to be balanced. So there'll be time for the thinking, time for the doing, and time for the being. There'll be time for work, and there'll be time for rest, and there'll be time for play. So there's going to be the perfect balance of it all. But I didn't want people to think then you've got to come away and then you've got a full year of work to do. It's not work as in having to find something extra to do. It's more about working smarter and with the cycles, and literally an hour or two a month to kind of come back together and talk about what's going on for us, and again sharing that elevation, because there will be magic happens. So people will just get that inspiration to keep going with what's happening, because it's reminding yourself about what you know.
And it's also, from personal experience, it's also much easier to share changes in your life with people who understand change and who are also going through change, than to try and explain it to people you might be surrounded with in your everyday life who hasn't gone through the same kind of changes.
Absolutely.
Even though, as a energy worker, we all know that if you change your energy, it will subsequently change the energy in your surroundings, but not quite so profound or clear as it might have happened for you. So it's easier to have that heart-to-heart share with people who knows what you're going through. Really.
And on that note, you've then got that is the reason to do this, because we're at a point in time now, and things are shifting so quick and so much that it's really up to us as an individual to make those changes for ourselves, so that we can be the inspiration for other people. So if we go, actually, I stopped playing that game and I started showing up this way and just being that person, and people at first, they tend to think, oh, she's gone a bit crazy, she's gone a bit mental, there's something wrong with her, because she's not doing the things that she used to do, because you're challenging the program that you were connected in with them. So it's like, oh, she's stopped complaining about her life. It's, we don't have the same time now, because now when we'll meet for a drink, she's not gossiping or talking about this, that and the other. She's talking about like different stuff that I don't understand. So you've got all of these things that happen. But it's really magical when you start to change and you start to elevate your energy and make those changes in your life, that it might be that for the people that you had those strong bonds with, they were the people that keep you connected to the old program. But the new things that show up in your life, and the new way that you are, and the more relaxed you are, and the more balance and harmony you have within yourself, there will be people in your life and in your family and in your close circle who go, actually, I want a bit of that. I want to be a bit more like what she is. And it might come in subtle, tiny little ways, but you then have that experience and that knowledge to be able to support them through it, because you've been there and you know the challenges you have to overcome, and the energy and the effort that it takes to break free from that. So it is the ripple effect, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. So this Elevation Soul Sanctuary, who is it for? Who will benefit from joining and coming to this retreat?
People who are ready for it, really. That's the thing. It's different to all of the other, all of the retreats have been different in their own right. We had the 2020 Hero Within was more like what we'll be doing. More like where if you do the work and you engage in it, you're going to get so much more from it. So it's for people who just would really, really benefit from having this tribe and this program for that full year, not just even the week away, where you know that something has to change, but maybe you keep losing momentum with it. So if you are ready to do the work, you don't have to be, right, this is it, I've got this much time to dedicate, and everything in my life is going to just go and I'm going to just change. It's not about that. It's not about, you don't have to know all the answers, because for a lot of people, you're not really quite clear enough yet on where you need to be. It's not like you have to come and go, this is what I want. It's not an ultra manifesting kind of thing. It's just really for those who are absolutely ready. You've got to that point in your life where you're like, something's got to change. What tends to happen is every year I'm making the same resolutions, and every year nothing's changed in my life. Or you'll look back, this happened to me literally a couple of weeks ago. I found an old notebook and I was like, oh, I wonder what magic's in this. Oh, I just did a Lisa there. I went, oh. I wonder what magic's in this, and I opened it up, and there was stuff in there that was still happening now. But now I've got psych care tools and things that I can go, right, this is obviously a belief that is so deeply ingrained, and it was something about kind of taking up space and being allowed to speak out about what I speak about. And I was like, hang on a minute, this is 5 years ago when I did this. This is still hanging on. I'm not having it. Something's going to change. And that's the kind of people that I want. Like, right, how much longer am I going to let this ruin my life? Am I going to actually deal with this now? And to have the support of other people who are going to be going through their own thing, but with the same energy and the same energetic bond and connection, is going to just be the game changer, I think. And it's a way that we have to move forward in a way of community. It's for people who realise that actually this competition, this constant on the go, feeling like you always have to be doing more, is not healthy. It's not the way that we move going forwards.
No.
We have to return to community. We can't, it's people who are sick of the system and the way that we're in now, and people who are just like, no, the time is now. This isn't going to be the way that it is for my kids. This isn't the way that it's going to be for the future. I'm ready to change me so that I can change the world. Yeah. That's absolutely the type of people that need to be there, really.
Yeah. So basically, people who are ready to take self-responsibility for their lives. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, good. So, and now we're coming into a question which I am so excited about. Where is it? And why is that important?
It's at the healthy home.
And if for those of you who don't know what the healthy home is, I mean,
you could probably talk best about this.
You know what? I'll take over for a little bit, because this one is my. I mean, I love this so much. As you probably know, I haven't lived in UK for my whole life. I'm Scandinavian, I'm Norwegian, and I've also lived in Sweden for many years, which is where I trained to be a feng shui practitioner about 16 years ago now, I think. And one of the first, even before I did my training, I came across a British author, a British feng shui. She was, I would say, an expert even at the time, 16 years ago. And her name is Gina Lazenby. So I actually got, because I was very into healthy living and how to create healthy surroundings even before I trained as a feng shui practitioner. So I bought this book, which is in Swedish, but I'll show you the British version is the one that Kaz has. This is The Healthy Home, written by Gina Lazenby. I've read it from cover to cover, I don't know how many times. It's all about all the things that surround us that can have a detrimental effect on our systems, on our minds and our bodies, and how we can relieve one by one those factors that create unhealthy surroundings, and through that develop surroundings and home that sustain us and gives us the best foundation for a healthy life in general. So the book in English looks like this, The Healthy Home. This is it's both, there is feng shui in here, there is decluttering, there is talking about radiation, how to protect yourself from all the types of radiation that we have around us now, even more now than when this was written, obviously. How to purify water, how to what kind of clothes and products to use to protect your skin and your body from harm. She mentions all of this in a very nice, positive way, and gives practical solutions. And what was I going to say? Yes, and the best thing of it all is that she has taken all these examples from her own life. She and her partner, through many, many years, completely restored their house, country house in Yorkshire, I believe it is.
Skipton, Yorkshire.
Skipton, from the ground up, to create with the building materials, with everything, to create as healthy a home as absolutely possible. And this actual house that she is talking about here is where the Elevation Soul Sanctuary is going to be for a week.
So I didn't know all of this when I found the space. I just found it and thought, right, this is absolutely spot on. And then when I started looking, and you kind of spoke to Gina about it, and through talking to her, I was like, she was asking what I did, what I'd be doing and stuff like that. It was almost like an interview to whether I'm worthy of being in this space, which is absolutely, I love that, because that is again about protecting your energy and working with energy. I understand the importance of that. So we got on chatting, and it was just such a fascinating conversation. She's saying, so what is it that you do, and what's the idea? So I was telling her the idea of what we're doing, and I was talking about how it's about the intention. I said, have you heard of Lynn McTaggart? And she was like, oh yeah, I know Lynn. And I was like Lynn? But it was a bit like, hang on a minute, it's something, you know, when all of the things come in, and she was like, yeah, so this is where it is, and we were talking about things like, you know, it's got like grounding beds and earthen beds, and all of the spaces are created
like the
in a
earth
beautiful
magnetism way. In the beds.
Just perfect for, I mean, if anyone's going thinking that seems like a lot of work to do, there is work to do, but there will be no better space for having proper deep rest. Apart from the fact you're disengaging from all of the known things in your life, because that's where your energy goes. That's why we feel drained, is because you're constantly thinking about what you've got to do for this person and what's happening tomorrow and what's happened in the past and all of that stuff. You've got that time away, but in a space where it's really conducive to proper rest and repair and just being in a great flow of energy. So as I'm talking to her, I was and came off, and then I was like, hang on a minute, I know that name. And then I was like, actually, I've got her books. And so I sent her a message straight away. I was like, I've actually got your books. Like, I didn't even realize it was you.
Yeah.
And then I thought, because at the time I hadn't put anything out about this, and I thought, I can't tell Lisa, because if she can't make it, she's going to be really frustrated. So it was a few, probably about a month later actually, where I said, Lisa, I need to tell you where this is, because I can't keep it to myself. I have to let you know. But Gina is actually doing a talk for us on the Monday. So she's coming and having tea with us and everything. So
even I'm still working through some challenges to be able to be there, for personal challenges, but I can't imagine not being there. This is where I started my journey. This is where I started my. I have to be there somehow.
yeah,
I just don't know how yet, but I'm sure the universe will. Well,
The answers will come
the
through,
answers
yeah.
will come. Anyway, so that's very exciting.
yeah.
The healthy home.
And there's lots of outside space as well. So the actual home itself is great, but then you've got outside spaces. There's places for nice walks in the area, so we can go for a walk one day and maybe have a pub lunch and go into Skipton and all of the rest of it.
Just gonna
So
see, I
to be
think
great.
there's another question here. Hang on.
Okay.
How do you scroll this one up then?
Have you found it?
Okay, no, I think what did I do then?
And say try the buttons if it's not working. Side. It's frustrating.
I'm doing
Hang
something
on.
wrong here. Sorry.
Let's have a look.
Anyway, well,
We just need to-
so
I feel the wind's a little. Oh yeah, that's not moving down, is it? Right, hang on. If I click off that and go on the,
Sorry, Lizzie, I'm
I think
looking,
it's the mouse isn't working.
trying to figure
It's
out
not.
what your comment is, but
If I do escape, maybe.
oh yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
good luck, ladies. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you. So, okay, we'll go for the next question now. So, if I am coming to your soul sanctuary, do I need, actually you've kind of answered this already, but very short, do I need to have all goals and plans figured out beforehand?
No, not really. Sometimes you just know you have to be somewhere, and then when you get there, it all works its way out. So you can go, and it doesn't have to be like, right, for a lot of people, when you get there, for me, I know this quite often happens, is when you get there and it's that first day thing of like just settling in, it's like the going back to school kind of feeling, where you've got to say, hi, I'm Kaz, this is a little bit about my life, and this is what I'm wanting to get from this week. And you feel like you've got to have it all worked out then. It's fine to just come and say, I don't know what I want from this week. I've come with a complete open mind. I just feel like I have to be here. I know there's changes need to happen in my life, and I'm ready to just do the work and go through the week, and through that process find a way forward, because that's part of it as well, is that you'll be creating a plan for routines and things that need to change in your life, but that work for you.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things that sometimes with retreats and with courses and stuff, that I can feel sometimes like I get a bit of an anxiety just because I have to have everything planned and everything, and I have to have a good answer, and live up to whatever my own expectations, maybe most of all. So you can relax with that.
Me too. And no matter what it is, no matter how much work I've done, there's still a little bit of imposter syndrome comes in, because it's a huge dedication to yourself to embark on any kind of workshop or retreat or event that you do, any kind of learning or anything. And if you've got that program of, hang on, this is going to take up a lot of time, it's going to cost some money to be there, it's a big investment in myself, it goes back to worthiness. Am I worthy of this? And in order to be worthy of it, sometimes we feel like we've got to be able to see very clearly what we're going to get out of it, and what the ultimate goal is, and how it's going to help you, and how it's going to support you. The thing is, this is going to be planned in such a way that we go through the workshops and we do stuff, and you find that out as you go along, without feeling like I need to go there and have this big huge thing of confidence of just like, this is what I'm manifesting, and it looks like this, and it sounds like this, and it feels like this, and this is when I want it to happen by. It's more about getting back to the basics and getting the flow of everything right, and then noticing that as you're starting to be more in flow and feel more in flow and feel more like your true self, then all of the noise of everything that you've been thinking, like, well, if I don't want that, what do I want instead? And all of that just goes away, and you find that little spark of what it is that you're wanting for moving forward. So don't think that you have to come and say, right, I'm here because I want to set up my own business, I'm really struggling with the confidence around it, and I know I need to do this. You don't have to have all the answers. The answers will come to you through your own guidance as part of the process of going through the workshop and allowing yourself to be for that 7 days, and then maintaining that and tweaking it and developing it throughout the year that follows.
So it could even, just playing devil's advocate here a bit, it could even be that you come there with very clear goals, and then during that week you realise, oh, this wasn't really what I wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want
that
something
all the
completely
time.
different. So either way, things can change, and I mean that's the only constant in life, isn't it? Change. So that's what you're there for, to change.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a bit just practical information. So the accommodation in the healthy home, is it shared accommodation?
some rooms are shared and some aren't.
Okay.
So I've not kind of put it out there in a way where there's different pricing for that, because I don't know if there's going to be men there. I don't know what's happening. I've just put it out there and trusting that it's all going to work out exactly as it should be.
Yeah.
So the rooms are amazing. You'll be sharing it most with one other person. You'll always have your own bed, and there's plenty of space if you like to have a bit of time to just retreat with a book or do whatever you want to do. There's a lot of little cubbies and places where you can go to just have some alone time. So even if you are sharing with somebody, there's always enough space for you to be alone. But you know, you've always got your own bed in your own space, because that is, I remember the very first, well, anyway, one of the earlier retreats that I did, and someone sent a private message and said, I don't think I can share a bed with someone. I'm like, where have you got this from? And I think it might have just been down to, you know, when you're reading something and if you're in that anxious state, and like I was saying before, you get that imposter syndrome and that thing of like, am I worthy and what's it doing? And you look through, your body's looking for problems really to keep you stuck, and reasons for why you can't do this, reasons that are going to keep you into that space of like, you shouldn't be doing this, don't do it yet. Maybe when you've worked a little bit more on yourself, or you're in a different position with this, that and the other, you get a bit, and I don't know whether just skim read and read sharing a bedroom as sharing a bed, and I was like, no, absolutely not. You've definitely got your own bed.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, you may have to share a bedroom.
But the thing is, and I can say again from past experiences with Kaz's retreats, that she has, her intuition is bang on, and if you have to share, and I've shared with others on the retreats that I've been to, both with Kaz and other retreats, and you always end up with the right person, more or less anyway, because and they could, the thing is, I believe, and that doesn't have anything necessarily to do with this retreat, but just generally in life, that everyone you meet is your teacher in some way. Normally the people who come to this retreat will have something in common anyway, but you know, there could be something in the person that you will be sharing that space with that will remind you of something in yourself that can help you on that journey that you were already on. So don't, sharing a space with somebody you don't know is not necessarily a problem. It can be a very helpful thing.
Absolutely.
So and Kaz is really, really good at intuiting who belongs together. So don't worry about that at all. And that's from my experience. That's
Nettie's got in there that will keep freezing, but hopefully that'll not be an issue on the upload that we can do. So what we'll do as well is
we're recording this as well on my phone, so we'll put it on YouTube. Hopefully there won't be any freezing there.
And we'll stick the link on here as well so people can have a look, and just in case we've got to a bit and then it's been quiet for a bit, hopefully it's caught on the other way. So but thanks for letting us know.
Thank you.
Maybe I should have took off Wi-Fi and put on to just 5G, but that's a lesson for next time.
So I don't have too many more a couple of more questions. Another, I guess, practical also piece of information is, what about the food? And this is something that you have big plans for.
Yeah. So part of getting back into balance is about becoming back in balance with yourself. So how do you support that? How do you nourish? So you're going to be nourishing your mind, you're going to be nourishing your soul. How do you nourish your body? And it's about, so there will be a bit of Ayurvedic wisdom in there. So we'll be finding about your personal unique makeup and how you can bring yourself back into balance. So what tends to happen is we all have different things that we choose to put in our bodies based on either just what you've always done, what you've grown up with, what feels right, comfort foods. Obviously it's going to be that time of year, isn't it, where people tend to go more into comfort foods, and when it's at the end of the summer and you're coming into winter and people start getting their chunky jumpers and their boots on, and you think, right, mince and dumplings for dinner, we need to just like stodge. It's about becoming aware of all that and actually thinking about how you can nourish in a way that is more supportive, and how you can uplift yourself when you need an upliftment, how you can ground yourself when you're too much in your head, how you can use food and healthy supplements, things to supplement that that way of feeding your body. Because Ayurveda is thousands and thousands of years old, and the wisdom that we take from that, basically humans are killing the planet at the minute, and so the nutrients that used to be in these foods aren't there anymore. So it's more of a modern way of working with the Ayurveda and thinking about, right, traditionally you would be able to get all of this good healthy mitochondria and all of the good stuff from the vegetables and because the soil was right, and if the soil's not right, how can you supplement that with more stuff? And it's not rabbit food, it's really tasty, delicious, nourishing food that is very satisfying. So if you particularly have a sweet tooth, we'll be going and we're actually making them together when we're there. So how the day will run is, we'll get up, we'll have a bit of movement, meditation, nice healthy breakfast together, set ourselves up for the day, go into workshops, have a lunch which we can prepare. It will usually be something that's quick, or we'll have prepared it the night before and it's just there ready to heat up or whatever. And then we spend some time in the afternoon talking about, so while we're learning about how to really balance your body and how to work with the intuition for your nutrition, how we deliver that is while we're actually preparing the food. So you've got an idea of how simple it is, how quick it can be. You get the recipe book to take away with you so that you can recreate stuff at home. And what I'm really excited about, I was saying to Lisa, it would be really great if there's people who live close by that are on the retreat, to kind of swap things, so make double the amount and then swap, so you're not having to even make the same, a full thing every day. So the food will be very balanced according to all of the different tastes in Ayurveda, but in a way that helps you to sustain a good energy level throughout your day and throughout life, really. So yeah, food will be freshly prepared there by us, and it's not going to take ages, it's not going to take up a full day. It's just a case of like, this is what we're doing and what this actually does for us. So even if you have it afterwards and you're like, oh, I like that, but there was something I'd like to change, you've got that awareness of what needs to stay in and what you could maybe substitute that for. So there'll be the recipe book for all of that goes in there. There'll be obviously the workshop materials that are there, but there'll also be in your plan for how you're going to live throughout that year, seasonal living things. So what kinds of foods to favour in the autumn, in the spring, in the summer, and work through it that way. So even if you're not fully embracing all of that side of it, you've got some sort of basic plan about, actually this is what nature provides us with, and this is why it does that, because it supports us as human beings. So
great. Very exciting. And
my mouth started watering as I was
get to go away with the recipe book as well. That's brilliant.
Yes.
So any necessary preparations beforehand, before you get to the retreat?
Not really. Just to try and make sure that you've informed people in your life who would usually kind of be involved in your life on that weekly basis. Just really to remind them that you're going away, the signal might not, I mean, there is signal, there is Wi-Fi and everything there, but the whole point is that you're going away for this rest and you're going to return as a different person. So maybe I would say to prepare them, not in a way of like, and things are going to change when I get back, not in that kind of way, in a way of like, look, when I come back, I'm going to feel less stressed. Life's going to be absolutely, you know, there's going to be changes in my life. So get ready, because I'm not coming back as a victim. I'm coming back as a creator. I'm coming back in a different way. So to prepare your family for that, and to just maybe ask people, you know, work-wise, you know, on my page there'll be something going out that says I'm going to be checking my phone once a day. That's going out pretty much tonight as well, because I'm busy away on courses for the next 2 weeks. So I'll be checking my messages maybe once a day. So if you don't get a response, this is why. And that's about good boundaries and good energy keeping as well. Other than that, I think it's really just to make sure that you're packing for your own comfort. You know, you've got nice comfortable clothes to wear. Think about what you want to do with your spare time there. So if you're wanting to, for example, I've got somebody who's come in who is really arty, and she's just like, I would absolutely love to just have that time and space. And I was like, do you know what? I love doing creative stuff, but I don't have the confidence to do it. Or I still have a little bit of that thing where I have great ideas here, but when I go to put them down, it doesn't look like what's in my head, so I get a bit frustrated. So can you help me with that? So she's like, yeah. So when we've got this free time, she's taking all of our craft stuff, and she's like, this is so exciting because I'm getting to practice this. And then there's Joe's going, and Joe's wanting to help on the equinox fire releasing cacao ceremony. So I was just like, yeah, Joe, you can take that, you can do that if you want to do that. So there's this opportunity for you to, in a really, really super supportive environment, just practice being who you want to be. So anything that's going to support you with that, just start pulling stuff together and make yourself a little fun bag of what you want to do with your time when you're there.
Brilliant.
Other than that, no, you don't need to kind of have to fill out anything. Look, there's a form coming out which will just be anything really for me to know how I can best support you. If there's any dietary requirements and anything that I need to know about what makes you feel safe or what's going to help you learn better, that sort of thing. That'll be coming out, but there's nothing that you need to really pre-read or do anything. It's just a case of you want to be able to just turn up and have that week to be what you need it to be.
Great. I think that was my last question that I'd written down. And as far as I know, nobody has put any questions on here. So I'm thinking, because we're getting close to an hour now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, are there any final words that you would like to say about this, or do you think we've been through it all? Is there anything that you'd like to finish with regarding the... Oh, by the way, I'll say that right away. There are a few more spaces left. It's filling up, but if you want to join in, contact us.
Yeah. So there are a few spaces left, and the thing is, there's a lot of people who know this is for them. What I've found is that there's people who... So the last few people that have booked are people who have been watching, and they're like, I know this is for me, but can I do it? How can I sort it out? And there's ways around that. So maybe for you, it's just like, right, how do I justify this money? Because it's £888, but that's for the full year. You've got your full week with everything included, except for if you're going for a pub lunch or what you're going into skipping or whatever it is that you're doing. But the meals are all there, all provided. The workshops, the fantastic accommodation is all there. You've just got to think about how you're going to get there. I'm sure people can car share, get lifts, or even if you can get a train into Skipton, we can pick you up from the station, whatever. The £888 covers all of your monthly sessions. It covers everything for that year. What you can do is, because it's so close, it's only 40 odd days, I think, until we go. If you would prefer to pay by installments, or in a way that gives you a bit more flexibility and a bit more time to be able to do that, then what I've done for some people is to send them an invoice on PayPal, and they've used PayPal credit, which we've just had a look at actually, because I was like, actually, how does that work? And that gives you 4 months at 0% interest, so you've got that 4 months to pay that off, or just pay in full, and you can do that on the website. But if it is something that you're thinking that would be great, but get in touch with me about what those buts are, because there might be a really simple solution to whatever it is that your programs are telling you that you need to be worrying about. You will just know. I think people will just know on some level, this is something I need to be part of, and they can actually see how. I have never been so excited for anything in my life.
Oh, she
Ever.
hasn't.
I haven't. I just know there's something. It's something that kept repeating over years, and once I just committed to it and just went, do you know what, this is going to happen, this is what this is going to be this year. And people on previous retreats had come back and fed back and said, do you know what, it was brilliant, it just needed to be longer, and imagine if I had this for a week, what changes would we make in your life? And I'm like, you know, you're right, because I've been on week-long things before, and what happens over a weekend is great, because you get there, you start relaxing, you get that great time, but then when it gets towards the end, you start thinking about, oh, I've got to go back home and deal with normal life now. A week is a great amount of time for you for your nervous system to start kind of settling down again, and for you to get into that state of feeling like you want to feel. So that week that we take out of our, because my intention is that when we do this, we then set up a payment system, so it becomes like a subscription, because it is a peer mentor group. So, you know, if you're doing it and it's going to help you with your business, which it will help you anyway, because it's going to help you be more you and to show up more authentically and do what you need to be doing, then that's a business expense. If you're self-employed, that's a business expense. It comes off your thing, because it's a mentor group. It's something that's helping you to stay how you're supposed to be.
On track.
So there's the financial side of it. We can, you know, I can give you the options for that. I think, you know, if people are happy to put, I know someone's thinking about putting it on their credit card and then just paying it off that way. I don't know. If you're meant to be there, you will find a way to be there. The main thing that I want you to think about is, what are your priorities of life? What are your priorities? And when are you going to make you a priority? Because it all starts with you. That's the thing. It all starts with you. And the things that typically stop are getting pet sitters, babysitters, what's going to happen while I'm out of the situation. Another way to think about that, someone actually flipped that on their head and said to me, but actually if I don't do that and I carry on in this stressful state and I don't take this week for myself, I might not be here at all. So then what do? So this then becomes a different scenario, and actually I have to make this a priority. So whatever that change is that needs to happen in your life, whether it's down to your routine or your behaviours or the patterns that you keep repeating, or whether it is something like you're not quite getting where you need to be with your business, or you're wanting to lose some weight, or you're wanting to gain some weight, or whatever it is, you want to change a relationship in your life, the priority always has to, you can't change anybody else, so you can only change you. So if you've got to that realization of, I'm ready to take responsibility for this, and I'm ready to make the effort and put that energy in to create that change, and I know it's going to be easier because I've got 10 other people helping me to elevate. And and that's what's going to be the game changer with this soul sanctuary. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because for me personally, I know that I need this as well. So I know, I can feel already that having that support of 10 other people around me is going to be great. So the content and how I deliver it is stuff that I'm doing myself beforehand, and then I'm there fully present to support you throughout that week. But then when after that, I'm going to need support as well in keeping that way going. But I know that I'm going to have these 10 other people absolutely there for me, and it's going to be so much easier than me trying to struggle and do it myself. It's got to come back to community and helping each other to elevate. And that shared intention is going to be what makes the magic happen. Helping other people,
Absolutely.
helping yourself is going to ultimately help your family. But any questions, you know where I am, get in touch. And I really hope, Lisa, I really hope you get to be there, because just for this alone, being there and meeting Gina and having the conversation.
Try and find that book either in the library,
Yeah.
or if maybe you have it in your bookshelf. Read it, because it's such an inspirational book on how to live a healthy lifestyle and how to support your support healthy living. And now I think the neighbor has kind of decided that this live is finished.
Yeah.
So, but we've been here for an hour now. So if you have any more questions regarding this soul sanctuary, you know where Kaz is. Contact her, and hopefully soon we'll be back with another Boho Bants whenever all your courses are finished.
Yeah.
When you're back from all your, she's going to be very busy now. To talk about something else, which is
Because
interesting.
we've got that list, haven't we? So we'll pick something and we'll go for that.
Yeah.
And when we're back, maybe we'll do a little feng shui thing, and also there might be a little collaboration between us happening as
Might
well.
be. Yeah.
So we'll see.
So thanks for
We'll let you
joining
know.
us, and we'll in a little bit we'll upload the recording of this to YouTube and put the link on the pages. So hopefully it won't be freezing then. It will be a proper recording. Okay. So
All
thanks for joining us. See you next time.
See you. Bye.